Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in again. My name's Daniel Happney. I'm here with Luke Rudkowski. We're here at Faneuil Hall, and I ran into Luke a couple times, and here we are, we're at a Ron Paul event, and I thought I'd introduce you people out there, all you ones in that lens, to Luke and find out, actually what I want to do is I want to find out more just about Luke, and not so much what you're doing, but what makes you you, what made you, you know, the stuff in behind it all. When I say in behind it all, gosh, I've met you and I've seen your work, and I've been to different events with you, and you impress the heck out of me. And it's so much so that I point out to my children, I say, look what a real man is. But what makes, what made the character? What in your upbringing?
It's very hard to say exactly what happened, but I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, my mom always taught me how to be humble and to always be honest and never tell a lie. And just seeing what's going on now, it's kind of hard to believe we live in a world that we do. And just growing up in Brooklyn, coming here as an immigrant, and just living a life, a legal immigrant at first, but coming here to New York City at the age of 10 as a kid, you learn a lot, especially when you don't speak English, when you're just thrown into a public school.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's a lot that makes me who I am. And also, what really got me involved into this movement was being affected by it. I was actually assaulted by the police department before I even got involved with anything. And it took me being a victim of police brutality to make me understand that I should stop being a victim, period, and we should start doing something positive. And we should fight for what's right and to stand up for what's right. And that's your rights, and that's civil liberties, and that's everything we believe in.
It's funny, they say nowadays they don't teach, when I say don't teach, my children going through the educational system, even in Sharon and stuff, they're barely even shown things like the Constitution. They're told that they exist, they're told that these people worked hard, they fought hard, they gave up their life, their liberty, their pursuit of happiness to go provide us with this blessing, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights and all that stuff. And it amazed me, and I'm trying to get my audience to understand that, hey, every now and then you have to get up, you have to do something. It's not just, you sit back and watch. I always, the founders did all this stuff, and they knew that it would be the people that maintained it, or it would be the people that let it go. Yeah,
education is a beautiful thing. Knowledge is power, but unless we use that power, it's useless. And we all have to understand, with great knowledge, great truth comes great responsibility, and it's up to everybody to understand that it affects them and that they have to do something because, if they're not doing something, they're complacent. They're going along with it. They're allowing it to happen. And I really think a lot of negative things that happened, in the past years, I think the American people have allowed it to happen. And I think once the American people raise their consciousness and understanding that they are the people, we are the people. It's for the people, by the people in America, not the other way around. And once we understand that, I think we can do anything.
I'm with you. The other thing, too, is that I came to this Ron Paul event, and I'll be presenting people. I've already shown the people in Sharon. Matter of fact, airing this week, hopefully you're watching, is our first fully Ron Paul episode and stuff. And I was very impressed by not only the speakers and stuff, but just the people and the fact that these people knew that, there's something important going on, that consciousness waking. That's what I'm trying to do for these folks on the lens back there, is a consciousness waking to where also, too, they start realizing that, hey, there's people that they love, there's people that, that are in their lives that are going to be affected if they do nothing. When you started saying, I'm thinking, gee, the do nothing folks, around the world, you see them all over. They're involved in this and that, and it's whatever's important to those people at their times. But the do nothing thing is, somebody said, well, you get what you deserve. You get the government you deserve if you do nothing and stuff. And that's not all right with me because I've got children. And just because these other people do nothing and won't fight for their liberties, that's not the government my children deserve.
Yeah.
That's not the future that my neighbors deserve. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, that we all deserve. I mean, that's one thing that really drives me too, is thinking, if I'm going to bring a kid into this world, are they going to have to go through the same things I'm going through? Are they going to have to go to school in the subway and be searched by the cops like they're doing in New York City? They're searching random people in New York City just by going into the train system, just by going into the bus. And and this is one segment of the police state that we live in New York City. I mean, they have road checks everywhere. warrantless searches everywhere.
And it's that condition. To me, it's a conditioning thing. When I see stuff like that, it's getting the people. It's funny, even in our hometown, it was either in Sharon or Foxborough, towns that I reside in, they did like a lockdown. And I'm like, what are you doing with lockdowns? If it's that big of an emergency, you should be getting the people out of the facility.
Yeah.
Unless, the threat's outside, but there's a threat. The whole conditioning, when you said, gee, even on subways, on school buses or whatever in school, open up, show us your papers, who are you, all that crap. To me, that is such... it's kind of like I was doing something yesterday. Came to Faneuil Hall. By the way, we're here at Faneuil Hall today and all that. But I was listening to people, and now in the common culture, a little while ago, I don't know. We'll probably play it for the viewers, and that is they had the gentleman questioning Kerry.
Yeah.
Here's a college student questioning John Kerry at some event or speech or something, and 5 people are holding him down, and then they decide to tase him. And nowadays, the "don't tase me, bro" thing, it's coming into our, I don't know if you call it consciousness or lexicon or whatever, where that's funny. And it's not funny. People have to, my viewers have to understand that, the whole torture game, that whole conditioning of the police state it's wake-up time, folks. It's like go time to get up and fight for your civil liberties.
Yeah, it's conditioning. They take no, not at all. They take a little bit, then they take a little bit more and more and more and more until we're left with nothing. And that's pretty much where we're at right now, with the Constitution being obliterated, with all the laws going into effect, with all the police state measures going into effect, with Paris Hilton on TV and all this ignorance on TV, and we're really not being told the truth about what's really going on, about how our freedoms are being taken away, and they are single-handedly being taken away every day. I mean, in school, in New York City, I used to have to go through metal detectors. I used to have to swipe my ID, medical checks. You have to have your vaccinations. It's sick, and living it right now as a young person, I don't want my kid living like that. Thinking about it, do I really want to bring a kid in this world? No, because look how we have to live, and that's one thing that people have to understand. Being complacent now, you're setting forward something extremely negative for your kids, for your kids to come, for your kids' kids to come. Because you're allowing a little bit of that freedom to be taken away, and it's being taken away slowly,
incrementally.
Yeah. And it's a brilliant way of doing it, because they understand once they take away all freedom at once, people will rebel. But once they condition the people into being slaves, into relying on the government, that's how you get into the trap, and that's what they're doing right now.
Gosh, I got to give you this. My father, an oracle of wisdom, passed away, no longer with us. But I remember one time we were talking about something, and he said, "Well, let me describe food stamps to you." And of course, it's sold to the people that food stamps is a great thing, and I'm sure it's helping out some people out there, maybe a lot of people. But my father said, "Think of this analogy. There's a gentleman who lives, he's got a farm, and he's got a bunch of wooded area and stuff, and there's wild pigs out there in the woods. And somewhere out in the woods is a clearing. And so what the guy does, this farmer's not a dummy, he takes some food with him, bucket of slop, whatever pigs or wild boars like, and he goes marching out, and when he gets out to the woods where the clearing is, all the wild animals run for the woods. And he walks out to the middle of the clearing and he puts down the food. It's 12 noon. Then he goes home. And he does this repetitiously for 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row. Every day now, the animals are used to seeing about noontime, in comes the free food guy. And so the first couple weeks, they're still a little leery. They know man is not good, well, for them anyway. And so they're at the edge of the clearing. Then next thing you know, they're at his feet waiting for the food to hit the ground. And he said, my father said, then the next thing that they would do is the guy would take the food out, and he's got a section of fence. And he put the food down, and off he just put in one section of fence. And he goes, on the last day, he swings the gate closed behind him. And he has these people exactly where he wants them. When I say people, it's they're dependent on him for food. And all of a sudden, he's entrapped them. And it's that slow, like I say, almost like a conditioning thing. We've given up. I don't mean to get windy. I want to talk about you. No. I get to talk all the time. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What made you start We Are Change, and how did the idea come across to you?
We Are Change was always like the youth group of another Not Alone Truth organization, and I've been out there for about 4 years now in New York City, Ground Zero every Saturday, and it came to a point where the Not Alone Truth group, this one guy who was in control of everything, he kind of believed towards the New World Order. He believes in socialism, he believed in the United Nations, and he had faith in our government and wanted to lobby. We, of course, had a different view. This gentleman kind of took away from everything. We were left with nothing, literally nothing. We had we used to have everything, a website, email list, money, everything to happen, and then this guy took away everything. We started off new, and we got all the young people, we got all the activists from that Netherlands Truth organization who realized something's wrong here, who came to our side, and it was more of a community thing. It was not like one person is leader, we were all leaders, and it was amazing to see. We didn't have nothing, but then we all took $1 out, put it on the table, and we bought flyers, and we were able to go out Saturday.